From our studio in our office at the corner of 8th and Walton in Bentonville, Arkansas, welcome to Saturday Morning Meeting. Brought to you in part by Dun & Bradstreet, Credibility Corp., the leading provider of credit and credibility solutions for businesses. Saturday Morning Meeting covers Walmart, Sam's Club, and the consumer product companies that are represented on the racks and shelves throughout the country and around the world. Our focus is on the insights, trends, and best practices to help you as a supplier grow your business with the world's largest retailer. I'm Andy Shook, and thank you for joining us. Today, in Swimming in a Sea of Data, Jeff Amerine talks with Bill Akins about what lies ahead in analytics for CPG companies. And because many of you told us you wanted to know more about two previous topics, we asked Loria Oliver and Denise Natishan to come back. Now, Loria gives suppliers some tips for getting press coverage in other cities, and Denise tells you when, how, and who to hire for analytics. But first, the headlines. For the past year, Walmart has promoted its renewed commitment to American-made goods, a commitment that includes sponsoring its second annual Walmart Manufacturing Summit in Denver. Suppliers and other business leaders who can't make the trek to Colorado can view a live webcast of the general session on Walmart's corporate website. According to a Walmart press release, presenters at the session include Walmart CEO Doug McMillon, new Walmart U.S. CEO Greg Foran, former CEO of Walmart U.S. Bill Simon, and Colorado Governor John Hickenlooper. Retail analysts have long declared that Walmart's long-term success depends on effectively doing battle with Amazon on Amazon's home turf, e-commerce. DailyFinance.com reports that Walmart has taken a giant leap forward by announcing a major overhaul to Walmart.com, with an emphasis on personalizing the shopping experience with product recommendations. The implications of these e-commerce efforts are significant for suppliers who need to be prepared to provide metadata and accurate product descriptions so that their products can be easily located and recommended on Walmart.com. Walmart acquired another tech company this past week. MarketWatch reports that Walmart Labs bought out Luvocracy, a startup that helps consumers recommend products to family and friends. Now, while Luvocracy's website was still online as of August 6th, multiple reports indicate that Walmart is more interested in Luvocracy's talent than it is in keeping the business running. We'll keep you posted. Now, there's been a lot of buzz about Walmart's entry into the loyalty program arena over the past few weeks. Amy Dunn at NewsObserver.com reports that Walmart officially launched its Savings Catcher program nationwide this week, while also adding a new category to the program: fresh produce. Now, the program allows shoppers to scan their Walmart receipts with their smartphones so that the system can compare Walmart's prices to those at local competitors. Now, if a competitor beats Walmart's pricing, Walmart refunds the difference onto a gift card. There's been a lot of speculation about who would take over as Target's CEO, and we got our answer late last week when the Wall Street Journal reported that PepsiCo executive Brian Cornell would take over the company. Cornell, a former Walmart executive, has a lot on his plate as he tries to address multiple issues facing the retailer. Retail analyst Paula Rosenblum notes in a Forbes.com column that Target's new CEO has to address the company's identity crisis, earn back consumer trust after last year's data breach, and integrate new executives into the business. This week, on Swimming in a Sea of Data, Jeff Amerine and Bill Akins of Rockfish discuss the opportunities, challenges, and future of data analytics for the CPG industry.
Joining this week is Bill Akins, Senior Vice President, Rockfish Interactive. Bill's got a long experience with data analytics, and retail agency experience. Bill, thanks very much for coming to see us today.
Jeff, great to be here.
It's great to have you. You know, I'd like to hear a little bit more about your background and some of the context that would make this whole data picture interesting to our viewers.
Sure, it was interesting to me. I actually started my career with Nielsen, and so was always a data hound and saw that evolve over about probably 16 years of dealing with Walmart, Sam's, other retailers directly or indirectly, and had the opportunity to run a few category teams, then ultimately with Rockfish today, be involved with actually building those data tools that bring data into action and actually put it into the user's hands and make the usability huge. And so It's been interesting to me to see the evolution of what's really happened in Bentonville/Vendorville, is that over time, you really saw the roles evolve, and these all built on each other, where you started with having to have a proximity-based relationship first. You just had to be here. You needed to be here, be part of the action, be able to get in front of your buyer quickly, and then it was a data-based relationship. Who could run the reports the quickest, who could build the modulars the quickest. Then it was an insights-based relationship on who can actually bring category insights where the category would be 5 years from now, bring those astonishing insights into play. And now, we're really at this crossroads of it being a digital/action-based relationship where real-time activity is the actual crux of where a supplier is going to be measured on.
It's really quite an evolution that you've witnessed, and you've seen it through, probably what you'd call maybe the golden age.
Right, and I always thought the golden age of data was, well, wow, Walmart's released all this fantastic retail link information. Then over time, we're really realizing, wow, we're actually still at the beginning, because now you're bringing social, local, mobile type information all into the forefront, and now you're having to bring it into
finally getting to the point of being able to unlock the power that data can bring. No, it's really cool. It's really cool. But still, as we swim in this sea of data, what do you see as the greatest challenges that companies are facing? What are they having to deal with?
So you have analysis paralysis, of course, being one of the obvious pieces. Is that I still think there are a lot of companies mining data just to mine it, versus let's actually determine what are the key performance indicators, what are things that we need to discuss in joint business planning with our key retail partners, and then actually pull the data around that and use that as a compass moving forward on. So I mean, certainly analysis paralysis is a big side of that. Turning insights into action. I love the old saying, insights without action are nothing but overhead. And when you look at the convergence of the physical and E/M commerce, now it's about, from an end shopper, show me that you know me. Show me that you can do something about that, and then show me that you actually care to actually make something personalized and something relevant.
Knowing who that customer is and what they want, when they want it, and how they want it delivered.
Yeah,
really kind of key points.
There's a great chart we actually have up in our office that we use as our own compass that really shows the need for analysts to not only just be analysts, but to actually think like data scientists. And and actually bring that convergence into play. And so if you look at two ends of the spectrum of this chart, you actually see that you've got the data analysts well, they have all the information. They actually have the things that can actually be leading to causation, but they don't have any influence. And so you have the opposite end of the spectrum, where you actually have the senior leadership of companies who they have the power to influence, but they don't know how to pull the data. And so being able to meet in the middle and find that common balance, that's the true future.
How do you do that boundary spanning? How do you get those two groups together to where you can get to actionable information and good decisions?
Yeah, so I think it goes back to knowing the key performance indicators, of which actually driving that business and which driving the category. And that it's not about, from a social standpoint, it's not about us just having more likes. It's about understanding what's the value of that like, and how do we actually turn that into conversion and buyer conversion.
So what are some things that Rockfish is doing in this area to try to make sense of all of it and help your clients?
So a lot of it, first of all, around data visualization. I mean, we got on the map because we built out Walmart One, the social intranet for 2 million Walmart associates. How do you keep the corporate culture alive in Miami as much as you do in Seattle? So data visualization is absolutely huge. We don't actually provide spreadsheets anymore. We actually have it's all digitally based, so that if I need to see how that social property is doing, it's literally on my mobile device. People are checking their mobile device as they roll in the bed at night, and so I want to look at those numbers, see what it's like at 11:59 p.m. Bring it actionable, bring it in real time. Huge future with contextual marketing. So iBeacons is certainly leading the way out in front of it. So we're working with probably 2 of the top 5 CPG companies in order to figure out ways to not only bring it from the shopper perspective, but actually bring the operations side of understanding contextual marketing. And so it's not just about delivering the right message at the right time. It's about bringing training. It's about understanding, do I need to actually take an action at the shelf right here in real time, going back to the whole real-time analytics.
I got it. And as you look at this whole picture, who's really setting the standard? Who's doing this sort of thing right, or what do you see being done right?
There is an evolution of the types of people that are being brought into Northwest Arkansas to support Walmart and Sam's, and it's a lot of great teams out there, but I would say those that are actually turning the data actually into content. You look at some programs Walmart launched last year, the whole Projects Made Simple. You look at the revamp of the website that happened just this week, and it's all about personalization of that piece. So companies that are doing that are certainly going to be in the forefront. If I think of an actual tangible example, take an example from what you're seeing in wearables. And I think of like wearable watches with Fitbit. Sure. You look at Fitbit, Garmin, and Garmin Connect. These are, at first I thought it was just narcissistic people saying, I want to go in and actually post the fact that I ran a mile this morning. Do I really care? But when you start to bring in facts like, when I was in Philadelphia a few months ago, I wanted to do the Rocky Balboa run. Sure. And so I went on and actually within Garmin Connect, I could go in and I could do a number of different things. With real-time data, things that were actually measurable, and then bringing it back into social.
Man, that's fantastic. Yeah. That's fantastic. Would you be willing to come back at some point in the future and talk to us about your crystal ball and what you see coming next? To. That'd be great. Let's plan to do that. Bill, thanks very much for coming in this week. It's great, super insights. Join us next week on Swimming in a Sea of Data. We're going to have Dr. Matt Waller of the University of Arkansas. Please also stay tuned for Saturday morning meeting, as it will continue shortly.
K-Stack, the leader in collaborative retail consolidation programs. We offer the supply chain expertise needed to navigate the challenges of selling products with the world's largest retailers. And we provide customers with a customizable, scalable, environmentally sustainable supply chain with the same advanced technology typically used by larger rivals. By leveling the playing field, K-Stack lowers distribution costs and increases overall margins. K-Stack, retail logistics is what we do.
Every day, shoppers are bombarded with traditional brand messages outside the store in hopes that these marketing dollars will drive in-store sales. Closure Media drives retail sales by connecting brands with 95 million Walmart shoppers per year while they are in the store. Through innovative programs at Walmart's photo and money centers, Closure Media converts Walmart shoppers to purchasers of your brand. With reported redemption rates up to 7 times the national FSI average, Closure Media drives sales. For more info, visit us at closuremedia.com.
Are you a single parent struggling to meet your family's needs? Single Parent Scholarship Fund is here to help. Single Parent Scholarship Fund of Northwest Arkansas helps hundreds of single parents get an education. By providing scholarships and support, a brighter future is right around the corner for you and your family.
We should know, in 2007, I graduated with my bachelor's degree in organizational management. Single Parent Scholarship Fund helped make my dream a reality. My kids are so proud of me, and now they declare themselves as college-bound.
GigWalk is an on-demand mobile workforce that can collect data and do work at retail. Businesses use GigWalk for retail audits, merchandising, and much more. With 350,000 smartphone-enabled workers available on demand, you get unprecedented speed and coverage across the U.S., Canada, and the UK. And all work is reviewed for quality and accuracy. Visit gigwalk.com to learn more.
My colleagues and I were lucky enough to have a custom course put together for us by Ethan Walton and Iris, our instructor. It focused on all the different aspects of what an analyst might need from retailing to work with Walmart. I think what surprised me most is that there were so many things that I had not been using in Retail Inc. that would be valuable for me and that I hadn't attempted to use yet. And also just some tips and shortcuts. Iris has a lot of experience, and she knows how to help you find things that are going to help you do your work.
Next, we're joined by Senior Partner and Executive Recruiter Denise Natishan of Cameron Smith & Associates. Denise talks about how to recruit talent for analytics and what to look for in your candidates. Well, welcome, Denise.
Thank you. It's good to be here with you.
It's awesome to have you here. Now, you've been working to place suppliers and people in analytical jobs throughout Northwest Arkansas for quite a while now.
Yes, actually, it's my 10-year anniversary with Cameron this week. So I always celebrate at the Single Parent Scholarship Dinner, and that's this week. So we'll be we're very fortunate, though, with everything that Cameron has done to build the brand, and I work with an outstanding team of people. So we've been doing this for quite some time, over 20 years, actually, here in Northwest Arkansas.
Wow. And you place people all throughout Northwest Arkansas and really are throughout the country as well.
Absolutely. Cameron was fortunate when we started. This is our home base, but as our clients moved out to go to other teams, we were asked to help them. And so we're across the country right now, as whether it's the Target teams or Walgreens, any of the teams at all, we're there to help out. And Cameron and I are actually doing something new this year. We're going to start working on our board level positions, which I started that was my roots back in Toronto. So we're going to be doing that now.
Great. Well, the buzz is all about analytics, okay? And even smaller suppliers are considering hiring an analyst Let's start with what that person, an analyst, might need as far as education, majors, different things like that. Where do you really start when you're looking for that person?
Excellent. That's a good question. When I started 10 years ago, it didn't matter if you had a degree. The one thing I keep saying to people now, have a degree. An MBA is going to be that distinguishing factor. So you need to have that kind of a background. It doesn't matter so much whether it's finance or marketing. Obviously, those would help a little bit more, but it's somebody that's able to take data, take information, and be very logical and analytical, and then also tell a story. So those are the kinds of things that we're looking for. I talk about it a little bit like my phone, so that before, when I first started 10 years ago, my phone was just a cell phone, and I could just make phone calls. Well, now my phone, I do my banking, I do everything with it. So I order my coffee, and so the analysts before...
Analysts has to be well-rounded?
Well-rounded. They used to just pull data. Now they have to take that data and do a lot more with it.
Well, I think that's the real key. It's not necessarily being a math genius, right? I mean, they really have to be able to understand the data and be able to, I think you said it earlier, tell a story.
Correct. Some of my key clients, what they say is they need somebody that's really strong analytically, somebody that can interpret the data, but then also translate that into a story and be able to communicate it. So someone that has a real passion to figure out puzzles, figure out numbers, how does this work, why is it like this, and be able to communicate that succinctly is something that's really critical for the person that they're working with.
So if I'm hiring an analyst, what are some of the skills that a CPG supplier might be looking for?
Okay, of course you're going to be looking for Excel, Access, any of the analytical skills.
I tell you what, this is probably the most important one. I've interviewed college kids and actually mentored some, and they come out and they say proficient in Excel. and all they've really done is they've taken that one class at the University of Arkansas, and they haven't done anything else since then. And it's like, they're not really proficient in it. The skill needs to be a lot better, doesn't it?
Absolutely. If anybody were wanting to go into this field, I think that's one of the areas that I would tell them to really focus in on is their analytical capabilities and to take that to an advanced level. Because
have you been able to help them out as far as understand where do they get the classes or what do they do with that?
Absolutely. They're all over. First of all, they can take more while they're in school, and I encourage people to take and do internships while they're in college to be able to be better rounded and more prepared to walk into an office.
Right.
But also there's opportunities, whether it's 8th and Walton and online, there's all kinds of classes that they could be taking. So
I remember back in the day we used to have these little Excel tests, and we used to have the person come in, and if they didn't know how to do a VLOOKUP and do these types of things, they of course weren't hired. But I don't know if they do that anymore. But it's really important, those Excel skills are. What about personality traits? I mean, we know that a salesperson has to have personality, has to be able to talk really well and be able to kind of juggle a lot of things. What does an analyst have as far as personality goes?
That's a great question. And I think there's a little bit of where the challenge lies, because you want somebody that's very logical, very analytical, and then you also want somebody that has good personality skills to be able to communicate. Somebody that's a team player, that's very passionate and very hungry to dive in, but also that can communicate that story. So they almost do have to be that salesperson as well.
And what about small staffs? Company that might not be able to hire a full-time analyst, but still would like some of the skills? Are there opportunities for that?
There are opportunities. I talked to a few people about that just to get some different perspectives. And one person, which I thought was really excellent as far as an analyst on your team is worth their weight in gold. It's like starting your car and not being able to go anywhere unless you have it running correctly. And so to be able to drive that car and to be able to do everything, you want that analyst behind there doing all the grunt work of what you need to be able to be prepared to go present to your client or to your customer. And so that's exactly what that person needs to be able to do. And if you don't have that on the ground, there are opportunities to do temp or hire somebody that way.
And when you say grunt work, right?
Yeah,
it is kind of the bottom, right? As a sales analyst, but the different roles that they have. There's sales analysts, there's replenishment analysts. There's you're finding teams are actually hiring different roles within that. But it doesn't just stop there, right? I mean, they have an opportunity to actually grow into maybe a category analyst where they're working for a buyer. I mean, there is opportunity, and a lot of them I know have actually become national account managers. They've shown some skills in sales and have been able to transfer into that role. So.
Absolutely. So it's not that it's the end of the line for somebody, but honestly, a good analyst who loves and can dig in is worth their weight in gold. And we're actually seeing some of the salaries go and reflect that as well. Because if you can find somebody that's passionate, that loves to do that digging, that can translate it and take it beyond the numbers, then you've got somebody that's going to really drive your business. And that's critical for it.
So where does a supplier find candidates like these?
Well, obviously they can find them through me. But it's a challenge right now, and we talk about that as far as finding good quality candidates. I mean, you can do your research, and it's a small network of people that you would want to talk to, but they're out there. It just takes some time to do some digging.
Thanks for sharing with us, Denise. It's always great having you here. Saturday morning meeting will continue right after this.
Bentonville Commerce, less than 1 mile from the Walmart home office. You'll love the convenience, amenities, and customized options Bentonville Commerce offers. For more information or a tour, call 479-200-1112 today.
GigWalk is an on-demand mobile workforce that can collect data and do work at retail. Businesses use GigWalk for retail audits, merchandising, and much more. With 350,000 smartphone-enabled workers available on demand, you get unprecedented speed and coverage across the U.S., Canada, and the UK. And all work is reviewed for quality and accuracy. Visit gigwalk.com to learn more.
Your success with Walmart depends on being able to use Retail Link accurately and with confidence. Designed for both the beginner and the super waiting for a refresher, this course takes a hands-on approach to the most common aspects of Retail Link. In this one-day course, you'll learn how to navigate Retail Link with ease, how to personalize your dashboard, and how to build a query. Become a smarter supplier. Contact 8th and Walton today.
Last week, we spoke with Loria Oliver of OWC PR on ways to gain publicity. This week, she's back, and she shares how smaller suppliers can obtain press in other cities. Loria, it's great having you back. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Andy.
Okay, now last week, we talked about getting press, and our viewers came back to us wondering how to do that in multiple cities. So can we go a little more in depth on how we do that in multiple cities?
Sure, and it's a great question. So the first step, like we discussed last week, would be to still build a media list. And if you have a budget, there's a great service called Cision that you can use. For around $300 a month, the very base package will build the media list for you, help you with that process, and also give you detailed profiles on the reporters that you're pitching.
So for $300, you get names of reporters, newspaper people,
correct.
Trade publications.
Correct.
And that's $300 a month.
Yes, and that's their base package, and it can go up from there. So like, let's say that's just for a state. If you're dealing with a region, if your product's in stores in a region, it'll be an upcharge. If your product's in stores nationwide, it'll be an upcharge.
Okay, so $300 is the basic package.
Correct.
Okay, still that's not bad.
Yeah, I mean.
And once you get that list, can you stop the service? I mean, if you kind of, you have that list and you think, well, you know what, I'll kind of stick with this for a little while, so maybe you just do it for a couple of months?
Yeah, I believe that they're fine with going month by month, but I think it depends on what you sign up for, how in-depth you want to get with your research, and what works best for your business. I know some companies I work for, $300 a month is a lot of money to put towards PR when they have other operational costs and startup costs. For other companies, it's a drop in the bucket.
So let's talk about those companies that really don't have any money.
Okay.
What do they do?
Well, like we talked about last week, you would have to just kind of do the grunt work and build your own media list. And so when you're dealing with multiple cities, what you can do is open up an Excel sheet, the tabs at the bottom, mark each state with the tabs to keep yourself organized, and just build it out like we discussed last week. So the name, the contact information, their title, who they work for, what they write about.
Sounds like it'd be a lot easier to do it with Cision, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
But if you wanted to hire somebody to come in and do that for you, like you said, maybe an intern or a college student, and have them just doing research, because you can find a lot of information pretty much online, can't you?
Exactly. It'd be a great research project for them. It would give them hands-on experience in PR if they're interested in learning about PR, and it'll free up some of your time to do things that maybe
pertain to the business.
Exactly, operational things.
So once you've found your contacts and you've built the media list, then what do you do?
Then you want to distribute your press release. So there's options for that if you have a budget, and options for that if you don't. One service, if you have a budget, is called PR Web, and that will distribute your press release for you to all the major news sites and major search engines. Their packages start around $100 to $500, depending on who you want to send it to. They'll also allow you to pick which markets you would like to specify your release to go to. So maybe you have a great salsa and a store in Birmingham, Alabama. You can click Birmingham, Alabama media and target them specifically.
Okay, and that's all with, what's that service called?
PR Web.
PR Web. Now, it's not a free service, though?
No, it starts around $100. And
so if you want to do it for free, you have to call Birmingham, Alabama and talk with the people in Birmingham and try to get it. Okay, so that's the other way to do it. Yeah. Now, are there any other options for suppliers?
Yes. So there's another option called MarketWatch, and essentially it does the same thing as PR Web. It does, however, have more of a social media component, so maybe you're interested in going that route as well. And they have 3 tiers that you can use, kind of their base level, and it goes from around $150 on up to $500, whether it's state, regional, or nationwide.
Okay, and if you're a small supplier again, and you don't have a big budget, now what do you do?
If you're a small supplier, you don't have a big budget, you send out personal emails like we talked about last week, which is my favorite way to go. It's time-consuming, it's grunt work, but the most important part about building, doing PR for your business is building the relationships.
Well, I think, you know, the other thing too is you end up with a story, right?
Exactly.
And you start expanding that story as your company grows and as it grows into other areas of the country. You build that relationship with that reporter, with that person. Is that kind of what you're doing?
Exactly, that's all you're doing. And PR Web and these services we're talking about are great because they take away a lot of the grunt work and time that goes into it, but you're not having that one-on-one kind of relationship that I love about PR, because you're meeting people, you're telling people about something you're passionate about, and hopefully they'll be just as passionate and right about the product that you're trying to launch.
Now, how long have you been doing this?
For about 10 years.
About 10 years. And have you built some of those kinds of relationships?
Oh, yes. I mean, you have to. You can't have a PR business like I do and not build those relationships, but it's hard. And don't allow me to make it sound easy.
Right, no,
it's not.
It's really difficult. Well, now that you've built some of those relationships, then there's kind of a trust factor, too. So if you're bringing something to a reporter or to a trade publication magazine, they know you brought other good items to them before.
Exactly.
Then they'll want to continue to work with you, or people like you in your business, right?
Exactly.
Okay, but again, like you said, that takes a long time.
It does.
To build that. So is there anything else that we should know?
Well, if you don't have a budget at all and you don't want to go the route of building out the Excel list, then what you can do is 2 free services come to mind that will send out your press release for you. One is called freepressrelease.com and the other is prlog.org, and they'll send it out for you. They're a little bit cheaper, so starting at $19, you can kind of upgrade a little bit to send out your release to more people, but it's very basic.
Okay, when you say basic, what do you mean? What are you going to get?
Maybe it'll show up in a couple of keyword searches. So maybe we go back to the example of salsa. Maybe if someone's looking for a great salsa, maybe it'll come up, maybe it's not. It's not as high powered as using a paid service.
Gotcha. Well, thanks for all the great tips, Loria. This has been great. And, you know, really kind of digging in deep like this, I think it really helps the suppliers, especially smaller ones that are watching the show, to really understand kind of what do I do next? How do I get this started on my own? Yeah. It's been great. We really appreciate it. Saturday morning meeting will continue shortly.
Bentonville Commerce, less than 1 mile from the Walmart home office. You'll love the convenience, amenities, and customized options Bentonville Commerce offers. For more information or a tour, call 479-200-1112 today.
You know, the biggest challenge of working with Walmart is they really expect everyone on the team to know their language, know their terminology, and know exactly how they do business. So that's where 8th and Walton really comes into play. You know, it's the fastest way to get my team members up to speed.
Their business model is suppliers teaching suppliers. So when you come to 8th and Walton, you can count on having very experienced trainers who understand how suppliers work within Walmart, and they take advantage of that and incorporate that into their curriculum.
Are you a single parent struggling to meet your family's needs? Single Parent Scholarship Fund is here to help. Single Parent Scholarship Fund of Northwest Arkansas helps hundreds of single parents get an education. By providing scholarships and support, a brighter future is right around the corner for you and your family.
We should know, in 2007, I graduated with my bachelor's degree in organizational management. Single Parent Scholarship Fund helped make my dream a reality. My kids are so proud of me, and now they declare themselves as college-bound.
Our thanks to Jeff Amerine, Bill Akins, Loria Oliver, and Denise Natishan. Join us next week when we talk with Kendrick Fincher and Gatorade about how philanthropy benefits suppliers in the heart of business in Northwest Arkansas. And in Swimming in a Sea of Data, Jeff Amerine talks with supply chain management leader Dr. Matt Waller of the University of Arkansas. Now, as always, we appreciate your taking the time to join us. If you have questions or comments, we'd love to hear from you. I'm Andy Shook, and from all of us at Saturday Morning Meeting, thanks for watching.